Hello, everybody. C. Ray Brower here with Your Perfect Home, and I got John Lone King with me today, and we are going to find out some great stuff, and that will be coming up next. Let's see. There we go. Hey, John, how's it going today?
I am amazing, C. Ray. How are you?
Absolutely amazing myself. Just another day in real estate paradise. You know how
Ain't,
that is.
ain't that the truth?
So, you about ready for Thanksgiving?
I am very ready for Thanksgiving. We are spending Thanksgiving in paradise. So you said another, I think you literally just said the word paradise.
You're going to be in paradise.
I am leaving tomorrow morning for the big island of Hawaii, and we'll be coming back a week from tomorrow. So we'll be spending Thanksgiving literally in paradise.
Very, very nice. And I was thinking of Paradise, California.
Yes, no, a different version of paradise, and
Different
I
version.
think for a lot of people that is paradise. For me, I like Hawaii.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
How
Me and my
about
wife
you?
have been a little while since we've been there. We've been talking about it. Maybe we'll get that scheduled for next year.
You all ready for your Thanksgiving?
We're actually going shopping tomorrow. We're hosting here, so we are going shopping to get the bird and all that stuff and get prepared. Usually smoke a turkey, and then we've got another party that we're going to, so we'll be doing a double batch of 5 cheese smoked mac and cheese with a little lobster.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
it is
sounds
amazing.
amazing.
It is amazing.
Is that a secret family recipe?
Not really a secret recipe. We found the 5 cheese mac and cheese a long time ago. We've been doing it for a while. Got the Pit Boss now. Had a Traeger, now got the Pit Boss, and it is amazing the things that you can do with smoke. Right?
You know, I've never gotten into smoking, which my lungs would be thankful for that. Not only that kind of smoking, but also the other kind. I'm a griller. I've used to be a barbecuer, and now I guess I'm not allowed to call it that anymore since I use the gas grill. But yeah, a good friend of mine is trying to get me to start smoking some stuff. So we'll see.
I started with the Weber and smoked and grilled on the Weber, and then went to a gas grill, and then God, I don't know. It's been probably 10 years ago now that we got the Traeger
Mhm.
and really enjoyed the Traeger. It started giving us a little trouble and had been looking at the Pit Boss at Lowe's, and it grills, it smokes, it does it all. So I have been really, really happy with the Pit Boss. So.
I'm waiting for the one that does the dishes. That's the one I'm going to buy.
What's that?
The one that does the dishes. That's the
Oh,
one.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. So, what's new and exciting in the finance world? I know we ended up with interest coming down a little bit.
We did. We did. It's funny because the whole year has been rates going up and up and up. And it's been for one reason and one reason only, and that's inflation. And that was the good news last week. So a week ago today, an inflation report came in lower than what most people were expecting. And that was good news. Tuesday, a different version of another inflation report came in better and more good news. But I got to tell you, I like to read between the lines. I like to really, I pride myself in being a student of my industry, and I've been doing this for 22 years. I remember vividly conversations I had with people about the 2007, 2008 crash, and talking about them as they happened. And I kind of have a similar sense this year of just, it's surreal to me. I know I'm strange, I get it, but I'm living through history, and these are things that we're all living through it. But as a
Right.
student of this, it's fascinating. But here's what I'll tell you. I like to really get a gauge, not just on what has happened and what's happening, but really get a feel for where we're going to go and why. And the problem is that nobody knows. I could guess. I'm going to, but it's just that. That's exactly right. Snake eyes. And so, what I think is going to happen in the next 30 days is a lot of what happened between June and August of this year. And you mind if I tell you kind of a quick story about what happened and give you some context?
Absolutely.
So in June, we started feeling like the markets, the stock market, the economists, they started feeling like, hey, this inflation thing might not be going up much more. We might be in decent shape. And the Fed had said, hey, we're thinking about next year. And the Fed gave some forecasts. And they said in 2023, we feel like in summer, we might start dropping interest rates again. Well, what it did to the market is it basically kind of like being a parent, okay? Where when you are parenting your children and your child did something wrong and you say, you know what, if you do anything else wrong, you're not going to get to go on that ski trip next month. But the truth is, if your kids knew what was going on behind the scenes, they know that you just wrote the check for the final non-refundable deposit for the ski trip. So they're going no matter what. Like, there's no way they're not going on the ski trip, but you can't tell them. Right. Because if you tell them they're going on the trip, they don't learn their lesson and they act the way they had been acting all along. The punishment isn't there. So as parents, we need our children to act a certain way today by making them think something's going to be true in the future, even though it's not really true. Can you relate to that?
Yep.
That's what the Fed did at the end of August. The Fed said, hey guys, time out. You think that we're almost out of the woods with inflation? We're nowhere near out of the woods. And this is going to get way worse. People are going to lose their jobs. And there's going to be blood on the streets. Okay, they didn't say that, but it felt
they might as well have.
They might as well have. And they basically painted the picture like it's going to be an apocalypse, an economic apocalypse. They don't really believe that, in my opinion.
Right.
They still believe that next summer they're going to potentially have to lower interest rates because we likely are going to be in a recession next summer. But they can't tell us that because then we'll start acting like we're already out of the woods, which we did for 2 months.
Right.
And we're going to do the same thing. Because inflation came down, I believe it's going to continue coming down. That's a guess. Okay. Yeah. But if you go back, I do a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. I can show you proof that back in July and August, I thought, hey, October, November is when we're really going to see the peak. Okay. Yeah. I don't read tarot cards. I wasn't throwing a dart on the wall against a calendar. There's statistical data that shows that as being a pattern that was likely to come true. Right. I still believe that data. But the Fed's going to do everything they can over the next 30 days to convince us it's not true.
Right.
They're going to threaten to send us to our room. They're going to tell us there's no way we're going on that ski trip. They're going to get super upset at us if we even talk about the ski trip because they don't want people to think inflation's over or inflation won't be over.
Right.
And that's the big thing that we're going to hear. And what's that going to mean? It's going to mean basically that the markets will be really undecided. We're going to see a lot of up and down. So we saw a big drop in rates last week. I think we could see a big bump up in interest rates simply over the Fed trying to scare us into thinking the markets are going to continue with these challenges. And that's their job. It's our job as a parent to scare our kids so that they don't walk in the middle of the street and get hit by a car. I'd rather grab my child and have him crying and screaming because I yanked him out of the street than to let him get hit by a car.
Right.
And that's what the Fed's trying to do. So I don't fault them, but I think we're all going to be confused because they're going to tell us it's not over, and it's not.
Yeah.
But I think we're past the eye of the storm. I think we're on the back side of this, and that I think realistically, I'm telling a lot of my clients are on here, so let me be clear. When I talk to a client, I'm saying I think in the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to see interest rates down.
Yeah.
I really think it's going to be shorter than that. But I don't want people making plans, just like you don't want your kids making plans for that ski trip.
Yeah.
I don't want people making plans expecting rates to drop, especially if those plans mean they're going to postpone a buying decision.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think, Stingray, when you think about rates dropping, shouldn't, in your opinion, should somebody wait until rates drop to buy a home?
I tend to have the same idea that you have, that I think this probably says it the best.
I love it.
They definitely have the scare tactic, the bad kid. This is what we're going to do. This is what has to happen. Everybody, I mean, I get it all the time. House prices are going to come down, right? I don't see that. I don't see that. Even though there are many loan officers and people in the industry that are saying we're in a buyer's market, we're approaching a neutral market. 3 months of inventory in San Joaquin County is still a seller's market. So we still don't have enough inventory. We still have people that are qualified to buy, enough people that are qualified to buy. It's not like when we had really low interest rates and everybody could buy. Now we've taken out the bottom side of the market, and those first-time home buyers that could afford the payment based upon the lower interest rate and what have you. So we've taken out some of those, but we still have plenty of buyers, and there are people buying and selling every day.
Yeah.
Not as much because of that higher interest rate, and everybody going, oh, house prices are going to drop, and then interest rate's going to drop, and then I'm going to buy. And I have the same theory as you, that yes, they're going to drop. It's going to be in the future, and we can't not get the home equity that we would be getting by paying somebody else's mortgage and renting. So
I agree. I have first of all, I need to ask permission, because you're Oprah on this show. So am I allowed to disagree with Oprah and challenge her thinking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is open conversation. You never have to ask me for anything. Jump in. If I don't like it, I'll stop you.
That's right. He has the power of removing me from the screen, so don't worry. He's in control.
Bam. You're out.
So I don't agree that we're still in a buyer's market, and here's why. Because what I heard you say was the age-old definition of months of inventory defining whether it's a buyer, neutral, or seller's market.
Correct.
And that's only paying attention to half of the equation, which is supply. And I'm going to oversimplify this for your viewers, not to say your viewers aren't super intelligent, but I just want to be really clear about an analogy.
Always talk to.
It's like going to an auction to buy, I don't care what it is, a car. And you got a particular car that you want to buy, and if there are 3 cars for sale and there are 3 buyers at the auction that want to buy the car, it's a neutral market. You have 1 buyer for every car.
Yep.
If there's only 1 car for sale, one would assume that means it's a seller's market because there's less inventory. But what if there's 0 buyers? It's not a seller's market at all. Right. It's the relationship between buyers and sellers that, in my view, and just basic economics, determines who has the negotiating strength. And the buyers have left the building in general.
Like I said, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, just temporarily, but it means that definition needs to be challenged. And I don't know what the right number is, and I'm not saying we're in a buyer's market either.
Okay.
But I'm not convinced that statistic is appropriate, given the fact that, hey, we've got a lot of buyers that need to buy.
Right.
But very few that are willing to take the risk to do. I mean, some of the best things in life live on the other side of taking a risk, and this is one of those. But a lot of people can't, because rates are too high and they just can't afford the payment. So that's the first thought I had. I have a couple other thoughts on what you said, but do you have any feedback on that?
I would definitely agree with that. I have said for many, many years, there are many people that find it hard to believe that I ever had a fear of speaking in public. My first actual speaking in public, they changed the picture in the dictionary for worst speech ever and put mine in. It was horrible. My good friend stepped up, leaned over to me after I sat down in embarrassment because somebody took the mic away from me because it was that bad. And he leaned over to me and said, "See, Ray, it wasn't that bad." And I went, I don't know where you were, but that was the worst speech ever. They are changing the picture today. That was the worst speech ever. And don't worry, it will never happen again. And his exact words were, "You cannot not public speak. People look up to you. You have a great way of looking at things and saying things. You cannot never public speak." And I said, "Guy, I didn't say I was never going to public speak. I said that's never going to happen again because I will be prepared, even though I wasn't prepared because I had somebody else that was going to speak for me and they didn't show up. And so I had to step up unprepared, completely unprepared and fearful. And so, yes, I didn't. So I've always said that our greatest victories in life come through stepping through our greatest fears.
Yes.
So yes, I agree with you 100% that there's less buyers because of the fear of what's going to happen or what could happen.
Yep. One of the other things you said, by the way, the good news is everything that I'm going to talk about your topics that you brought up. I agree with everything you said other than that one thing. So you talked about people missing out on the equity. You know, if you don't buy, you're going to miss out on the equity. I completely agree. But I think people miss the other two reasons other two ways you build wealth through owning a home. Because when you compare, hey, I'm going to own a home or I'm going to rent, equity is the big one that everybody says, oh my gosh, house prices have gone up and that's how you make money. And if house prices drop at all, I'm going to lose money. I shouldn't buy. But that's only one component, is equity, or I'll call it appreciation, the increase in the value of the home. But the two other things, you get predictably and stably every single month, every single year, regardless of what the value of the home is. And those two things are a forced savings account, because a portion of your payment every single month goes to principal, goes to your pocket. So if I have $50 in one pocket and $50 in the other, and I take $25 out of a pocket and put it in my other pocket, I still have $100. I just have 25 in one and 75 in the other. I still have $100. Yep. And that's what we're doing when we're paying our mortgage. A portion, albeit a small portion in the beginning, a portion of your payment goes in your pocket as additional equity, regardless of what the home value does.
Right.
And then the final piece is tax savings. You, depending upon your income level, depending upon your tax bracket, I don't want to say it's going to apply to everybody, but there's a huge amount of tax savings for a large component of taxpayers that you get no matter what. So appreciation is volatile. Appreciation, some years will be amazing and some years will be not so much. But equity built through forced savings and tax write-offs, every single year you get those. So I think it's just always good to revisit the fact that it's not just one way we make money through owning a home.
Right. They are all components of the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's still the equity in the house. Of course, the tax savings, nobody can ever say they don't want tax savings.
Right.
They can complain about some of our wealthier people in the nation that don't pay anything. While we're paying too much, but it is what it is. The tax laws are the tax laws, and if you know how to use them, rules will always work in your favor if you know what the rules are.
That is correct. Could not agree with you more. So I have one more question for you, C. Ray.
Sure.
how many, we've been talking about the market, about fear, about people being concerned about, is now a good time. I don't think we said it that directly, but that's kind of what we were beating around.
That's what we've been talking about. Yep. Mm-hmm.
How many people out there do you think, is it a small, let's go small instead of small. Is it a small portion or a large portion of the potential buyers that are saying, you know what, I'm going to wait for a crash. I'm going to wait until prices drop because I think I can get a deal. Do you think there's a lot of people out there who are thinking that?
I think there's at least half of the people that are out there, at least half, maybe more, that are waiting for that shoe to drop. As I have said, my very first open house, very first open house, was in Murata. It was $800,000 home, and went out to the open house to get ready for my first open house. I want to walk it. I want to be ready, right? Yep. And me and my wife went out, and we got there, and there's no lockbox on the house. And I had called the listing agent, said, hey, left a message, and I'm standing there waiting for a phone call so I can get in. And in the driveway pulls this car, and my wife goes, "Oh God, we're in trouble." And I went, "No." She says, "That's the owner, isn't it?" I said, "No, that's a buyer right there." And she says, "What makes you think that?" I said, "I don't know, just watch." So they stop. The guy gets out, asks a few questions, tells me how he's going to be in trouble because his wife's in the car and the kids are in the car. And so, "Why would you be in trouble?" He says, "Well, we looked at this house 9 months ago, and it was about half price. But it was scary. The weeds were this tall, and you went inside, and there's spider webs, and I was waiting for Michael Moore to come out and kill me. I mean, it was just horrible, right?" And I couldn't see the vision, and she could, and we didn't move forward. And so she gets out of the car, and now we're talking, and the kids are now playing, and she's telling me the reason that they want to move out to Murata or somewhere in that area was to get better schools, give their kids a place to grow up and have fun and not worry about the stuff that they had to deal with in Stockton. And she says, "So, we're thinking we're going to wait till the prices come down." And I said, "Well, okay, that's one way to look at it. But really and truly, there's never a bad time to buy a home. Mm-hmm. There could be a bad time to buy a house." Mm-hmm. She said, "Well, it's the same thing." And I said, "Oh, no. A house is something that you buy to turn over and make a bunch of money in a short amount of time. That's a house. A home is exactly what you just said, and that's a place to raise your kids, build memories and dreams, and give yourself something for the future." And in the grand scheme of life, there's been no time in a 20-year period, let alone the 30-year period, but a 20-year period, that house prices have not increased.
Yep.
So could you buy it today and pay more today than you could next year? Maybe. But if the price went down next year and you had to sell, you've lost money. Mm-hmm. But most people don't have to sell. Most people can move forward. There are things in life that cause us to have those problems where we have to do something, but today is not that day, right? For most of us.
Yep. I couldn't agree with you more. I'll tell you that I agree with everything you said. The reason why I brought it up is because people, I'll give you an analogy that I like analogies. I hope you're okay with it. Think about, every once in a while you hear on the news about a gas station that accidentally put their gas on sale for $1. Somebody goofed up and it went on sale for $1. See, Ray, have you heard about that the moment that it happened? What are the chances you're going to get gas at the dollar?
Slim and none.
Why?
Because you're not going to be right there when the mistake was made.
Yes.
And you can't get there fast enough because the line's too long, and they find out about the mistake and they correct it before you ever get a chance to see it.
Or they run out of gas.
Or both.
All of it. Yeah. So let's think through this for a second. Let's pretend Let's pretend prices crash. Let's just say it happens. We have 50% of the buyers waiting to jump in and buy.
Yep.
So when you have 50% of the buyers immediately trying to buy one house, and that one sells at a really low price, what happens to the price of the house next door? It goes up. So the person who happened to be standing next to the gas station when the gas went on sale, they get the deal.
Yep.
But the next guy doesn't get the deal. And it's totally different than 2008 when nobody could buy. That was the challenge, is everybody was on the sidelines and couldn't buy because they lost a home too to foreclosure. And so there were major problems with the group of people that were going to come in and buy. There are no problems with the group of people waiting right now. They're just waiting to get a deal. I'm not sure they're going to find it. But if they do, one of them is going to get lucky. That's it. The next one's going to be less lucky and less lucky and less lucky. Right?
Yep.
So that's my concern, is even if you and I are wrong and it crashes, there's not a lack of money sitting there waiting to jump in. There's so much cash in society right now that's waiting to jump in and grab those opportunities, that the opportunity is going to be, like the TV you're going to look at next Friday morning after Thanksgiving, and you got to get there at 4:00 in the morning to got to get there the Wednesday before Thanksgiving to even be first in line, because they only have one of them. But you're going to see it on the advertisement on Friday morning on the newspaper telling you can get this big screen TV for $100.
Yeah.
But it's too late because there was only one.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. If you and I are wrong and the market does crash for whatever reason, that's the logical outcome, is there's so many people waiting for that to happen. They're going to jump right in, and the rest of us are going to miss out.
Right. And we both know that there's not truly enough inventory.
Nope.
The builders started building and now are slowing down. They're slowing down because of their carrying costs, because interest rates higher. So we're already behind on brand new homes, which need to be there to be able to move forward and sell your home. You got to have a place to move, and that's the brand new home. And we're not building those. So, I mean, we can go around this both ways. Like you said, if we're completely wrong, there's not going to be that much inventory anyway. It's going to evaporate overnight, and we're going to have the same escalation of house prices that we saw in 2000, 2001, or 2020 and 2021, not 2000. But it is what it is, and there's no perfect timing other than God's, and all we can do is pray that we're on the right side of that perfect timing.
I couldn't agree with you more. C-Ray, I'll tell you, as we're a week out from Thanksgiving, allow me to be speaking on behalf of your clients and of the people who watch you. I'm super grateful that you're doing this. Like, this is a opportunity for you to provide information to so many people that need it. There's so many just myths and bad stories and bad intentions. And it's sad to recognize that, but it's the truth. There's people that only care about their side of the equation. And I just want to say thank you, because you are an amazing man, and you are an amazing business person. And I'm super grateful to know you, and I'm super honored to be invited to be part of this with you.
Well, I want to thank you for participating, because you bring a ton of knowledge and a ton of experience to me and my viewers, and I really truly appreciate it. Everybody, if you need anything, John King, scrolling below, John Lone King, the Lone King, right down here at 209-910-4019, and of course John at johnloneking.com. Make sure and reach out, and any questions for either one of us, do that. You guys go out and be the sunshine in somebody's rainy day. And of course, never forget to C-Ray to find your perfect home. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.